Welcome to the Sports Trigger. I'm Jared with my co-host Travis.
Here to ignite your day.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Sports Trigger. This is Jared with Travis. I am back from Vegas, Travis. I survived. And what better topic to talk about today than people getting paid, and specifically college coaches. So do they get paid too much, Travis? Are we paying the Sabins, the Charlie Strongs too much money in college sports?
Am I able to split my decision, or do I have to take a firm stance on this?
Firm stance, Travis.
Firm stance.
We're back from Vegas. I'm bringing that back. There's no 50-50 here anymore at the Sports Trigger. It's got to be one way or the other.
Out the window. All right. Well, I will have to go with the stance that coaches are not overpaid then.
Okay.
And, it's tough for me because, like I said, I'm very close to being split on this, but I'm leaning the other way just because I appreciate all of the things that coaches do in college sports.
What do they do that you appreciate so much?
So a lot of people don't really think about all the things that go in behind the scenes. They get their staff, they get recruiting, they get all these different things in order to even build a program, even in order to even build a team for that matter. And it's a year-round thing. It's not like it's something that they can take off right after the season's over. It's a non-stop thing, especially if you want those top-tier players.
Especially those extracurricular parties, right?
Yes. That's
a year-round thing.
Yeah, that's a Louisville thing, that's for sure. But I mean, I understand that, these coaches get paid millions of dollars. Even, common standard coaches like Michigan State's head coach, D'Antonio, he gets paid $3 million. So, I mean, there's definitely different levels, and I understand there are some coaches that definitely shouldn't be getting paid the amount of money that they do. But there are a lot of coaches like Nick Saban, you mentioned him, that should be getting paid the amount that they do because they do it year in, year out. And that's what the university is known for. That's what helps bring in excess money for the university. So I feel like it's fine to pay them that amount of money when they're doing great, not only for, their university, but obviously doing well on the field.
When you go to watch a college game, turn on the tube, anything, go to buy a jersey, why are you going to watch the game or anything like that? Are you going to watch it because of the coach? Are you like, oh, I really want to go watch Coach Saban sitting on the sidelines? I'm pumped to go see Saban. Or are you like, oh, I'm going to go see Hurts. I'm going to go see Bo Scarborough. I'm going to go see, Calvin Ridley. Or I'm going to go see, in Notre Dame's case, whoever the heck they're going to have at quarterback this year. Are you going for the players, or are you going for the coach?
Well, I'm definitely going for the players that year, but specifically I'm going just because I'm a fan in general. I'm not going for the coach. However, I will say in college basketball, it is amusing because you can get more up close and personal, if you will, and see coaches' reactions, such as Coach K and Roy Williams, Jim Boeheim. It's fun to see them, get fiery and yell at the refs, so on and so forth. But I think for me, it's more so of a fan appreciation for the program I follow more so than a coach or a player.
See, I think without the players, the program doesn't exist. Coach Cal at Kentucky, do you think he would be a great coach with bad players?
Well, no, but that's not the way he recruits.
So, regardless, who is actually making the program? Who's bringing the value? Who's worth all the money? I mean, when you really get down to it, it's the players.
I don't know because, okay, so you use the Coach K example. If he wasn't there, he's been adamant about being open to the one and done rule, right? He's the coach that really brought that into play, and a lot of others have adapted to what he's done as well. So
Coach Cal, right? Coach Cal,
yeah, sorry, not Coach K. Well, Coach K kind of does that now as well, but Coach Cal, if he isn't there, then Kentucky wouldn't get as many good players as they do. Granted, they'd still get good players because they're Kentucky, but I think when he's gone, then they may disperse more to other programs because he he's implanted, he knows the pitch, he knows the game, he has the background. So players go there because of him, because they know of his success rate and all the players he puts in the NBA.
See, that's where I still differ. Kentucky's always going to be Kentucky basketball. Alabama football is always going to be Alabama football. You're always going to have the people that are diehard Alabama Roll Tide fans. You're always going to have, Florida football fans, FSU fans. I mean, heck, Miami Hurricanes still have football fans, and they haven't been good in a while. I'll take that back. They were all right last year, and they're on the upswing. But these programs, USC football, the same way. I mean, the value's still there. They're not. I guess the way they change it is by bringing those championships in. But you don't do that without the players. So I just don't know, how much value is an actual coach bringing in. I just think they're way overpaid. Now, I will say this with a caveat. They should have a much less base pay and more bonus incentives. Because if you're bringing a coach in to pay for a victory, for wins, that's what they want, right? Wins and championships, then you shouldn't be paying regardless.
Yeah, I would agree to where the base pay should be decreased, and then there are bonuses or incentives, if you will, which I'm sure most of these coaches get already on top of what they're paid. But I don't know. I just can't go away from. I think that it's fine with how much most of these coaches are paid. Like I said, there are a large amount that get overpaid, which goes back to your base pay theory. But I think with how they coach up the players, they have certain structure, so on and so forth, and that's what really makes them worth the money that they're paid for.
I can't agree on this. I mean, if you look at Saban, what do you say, $7 million or something along those lines? $7
million. Actually,
mil.
this next year will be $11 million. He got a contract
incentives or something along those lines. I mean, that's
yes.
Let's take $11 million based on recent history. That's almost $1 million a win. It is
yeah.
And so that's what Alabama's saying as a coach. As a coach, he's worth $1 million a win. Is he bringing that value up that much, or is it the players?
I think it's him. I honestly think it's him, because before him, they may have gotten some top recruits, but look at the top recruits he's gotten consistently since he's been there. Top 5 classes, I believe, every year he's been there except for 1 or 2 years. So yes, they were still getting top recruits, but because Nick Saban was there and the philosophy that he had and the structure and the culture and the winning tradition that he built, that brought more players in, more top tier players, and that's what made them to be what they are now.
All right, here's another question. So Ohio State won under Jim Tressel, and it was a boring style of play compared to what Urban Meyer has now, and they win. They're just as successful. Pretty much the same type of success, you could argue. Who brought more value? Was it Jim Tressel or Urban Meyer?
Well, that's tough just because Jim was there for a longer stint, but currently, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the boring way of winning, but it definitely seemed like Jim was tapering off and he wasn't adapting to the new styles of the college football world, if you will. And Urban Meyer, definitely seems like he's bringing more value recently. Look at how consistent he's been since he's been there. So I definitely would have to give it to Urban Meyer right now.
And see, my opinion is Ohio State football is Ohio State football if they're winning with Jim Tressel, Urban Meyer. It doesn't matter who they have out there as long as they're winning. And that's where I think, they're overpaying for Urban Meyer probably too. Yeah, but I guess you look at supply and demand, and to me what college football's saying is we have plenty of top tier recruits, but we have a very limited supply of great coaches. Because in the NFL, the best players are paid more than the coaches. And I think the NFL coaching salaries are probably a lot more on par with what they should be compared to, I mean, some of the top tier college football coaches are now being paid more than NFL coaches. So I just can't agree with that. I think they're getting overpaid what they should be paid. I don't know. I'm going to say, 2 to 3 million for a good coach is probably where it should stay, but I'm not going to let you get another word in because, I just feel like, it's just at that point where we just need to cut this off because, to be honest, the more and more I think about it, the more and more I think that I'm right. So, we're just going to cut it off there. And thanks a lot, everyone, for joining us in on another episode at the Sports Trigger. And until next time.